Okay, after this episode, we are finally gonna build something out. Is it gonna be good? No, it's not gonna be good because we're gonna use a super old method of aligning and positioning our elements. So basically creating our structure for our website. We're going to be using something called floats. And I don't recommend this at all, but we're going to do it just so we can create a super basic website. After that, we're going to jump into Flexbox, which enables us to do some designs very simply, some layouts, responsive layouts, and all of those wonderful stuff. So bear with me, we're gonna do 2 more quick episodes, and later on, if we're also in the projects, we're also gonna cover other CSS properties and some other tips and tricks, okay? So I'm not gonna cover everything that you can do in CSS because frankly, that's honestly just a waste of time. We wanna know all the important stuff, and when we're actually building projects, it's gonna be more valuable to see it there than just me spewing it out here for zero reason. So one I want to cover, which I think is fairly important and you're going to use it a lot, is something called pseudo classes. All right, so I'm going to add a button here. I'm just going to keep it very simple, and I'm going to add a submit. Okay, so there we go. So we can get that button here. I'm going to say button. Well, that's not a class, just a simple button. And I'm going to say padding. We're going to do 2 rem and 4 rem for the width and the width. Yeah, that's what I tried to say. So take a look at this. We can style this the way we want, but let me kind of show you what these pseudo classes are. You can select the button and you can add this colon here. And what you do is, let me show you a few pseudo classes. One is called hover. And when we add it like this, what happens is if we add another property like background, light blue or light gray. When we hover over it, as you can see, that background changes its color. So only when your mouse gets hovered over that button, the properties change. Now we can do this on almost everything. So I can take the padding here and maybe I can make this longer. So that works as well. Take a look. So this is one that we're going to use a lot when we want to hover over something to give like an indication that when we hover over it, it's going to have some kind of effect. Let me also show you when we hover over this, as you can see, it's just a normal mouse. We can also change the cursor. So I can go to the button and add a cursor pointer to this. And when we hit save, you're going to see that it changes the cursor. So now it's like a clickable pointer cursor, and that's what I tried to say. Okay, so another one I want to show you is called focus. So let me copy this over here. I'm going to change this to focus, which all means that when the button is actually selected, it's going to change its color. So let me select a greenish color. So when we click on this, as you can see, the button turned green. And when we unclick from it, it's going to turn back to normal. So hover, focus, unhover. I can show you a better example with the input like this. So we add an input text, and then I'm going to copy this over and just change it to input. So when we hit tab, you're going to see if we hit tab here, now that's focused. If I hit tab again, that's going to be focused. You can tell by the blue outline on top of it. So that is focused. That's something that we are also going to use a lot. All right, and you've seen a few already. You've seen that we had that ends child, so ends child like this, right? And we can add a 1, and that's gonna select this one. Let me get rid of that really quickly. There we go. So that's gonna select only this button, the first button that it detects. So if I duplicate this a few more times, as you can see, that's the one that gets selected. Add 2, add 3, and that is a pseudo class as well. Now there's another thing called pseudo elements. Let me show you that really quickly. Let's get rid of everything and I'll just add a H1 that's gonna say hello. All right. A pseudo element is used to add additional content from within your CSS. I know, it's crazy. So let me show you. We can get the H1 at a font size of, let's say 4 rem. All right, let's make this smaller. Okay, so what you can do is you can say H1 and add 2 colons and say after or before. All right, and basically what after is gonna do is you can add content within your HTML here. So content, and you add 2 quotes, and you can say, hello, me. And as you can see, it's going to add additional content here. Now we cannot select this because this is done within your CSS. And in your HTML markup, if we check here H1, it only says hello. And this can be done as well with before. So we can say before. All right. And there we go. We can add some content before it. Now, honestly, this is mostly used not to actually add content, but to style an element in a few different ways. And we're going to see in the last part of the series, right after this video, how we can use this in a more practical way, I should say. So, but I wanted to show you these so you know that you have pseudo classes and also pseudo elements. Okay, so let's take a look at the old ways of how we used to create layouts.